Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Ricky Resources. So today we're going to talk about flaws, but not just any flaws. These are flaws that you may have but may actually end up working to your advantage, so they're not really flaws. If you've watched my previous episode on job interviews, click here if you haven't, you may be familiar with some of them. So first let me get this out there, you're not perfect. No one is. But having some of these so-called flaws doesn't automatically make you a bad person. But if you take these traits and you don't use them in a positive or constructive way, you may come across a bit of a jerk or arrogant, and you don't want that. So let's work with moderation, shall we? So starting off with the first flaw, obsessiveness. A dictionary definition of this would be having an idea or a thought that constantly preoccupies and intrudes a person's mind. In a working environment, we can divide people that obsess easily into two fields. You have your workaholics and your perfectionists. Perfectionists are people that are always worried about every single little detail whenever they're involved in a project. They want to make sure that everything is, well, perfect. Workaholics, on the other hand, are those people that are willing to deprive themselves of rest, time off, or even food just to finish a project or a task at hand. These two aren't mutually exclusive. For example, I would say that I would lean towards the perfectionist side. But there are people that have both these traits, and these people can be, let's say, a little intense. Again, this is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, when people obsess, this usually means that they really care about what they do, and they want to make sure that everything is done right. I mean, if it was something you're really passionate about, wouldn't you want it to be perfect and spend as much time as possible working on it? I know I would. You just have to make sure that you use this obsession constructively and not let it consume you. Be self-aware so that you can see the big picture and not get lost in small details. Perfectionists tend to come up with systems and methods to ensure that everything is checked out and that the outcome is the best it can be. They strive for improvement and are detail-oriented, and that can be a plus in a working environment. Workaholics, on the other hand, tend to have more output than their coworkers, which can lead to more commissions or bonuses. Get that money! And they're more prepared to deal with problems that can arise and also have a higher sense of achievement. Our second trait is being introverted. Shout out to all my so-called weirdos that would rather sit at home and read a book. Guess what? You're not weirdos. Whoever said being an introvert is bad, you suck, man. I mean, sure, you may not like going to parties or hanging out in places where you're overly exposed, but why is that a bad thing? In fact, it's often the quiet ones that have the most to say. Introverts tend to be great observers and can read people pretty well even though they're not the best at socializing. According to popular belief, they can be quite creative and original, they're cautious with their decision making, and are generally better listeners and more independent. All of these are great traits that allow them to focus better and excel at different tasks. So if you are an introvert, don't let other people get you down. But do socialize every now and then. It's just healthy for humans to interact with each other. Flaw number 3, stubbornness. A more formal definition of this would be showing determination to not change one's position or attitude on something, especially in spite of good arguments or reason to do so. This one might be a bit harder to put a positive spin on, but trust me, it's there. Let me just scratch that last part. We all know how annoying stubborn people can be, especially in group projects. But if you think about it, these are the people that just don't know when to quit. They're often committed to problem solving and are willing to try all the possible alternatives before moving on to the next best thing. If you see a stubborn person taking on a personal project, that person will not stop until they make it. And honestly, sometimes it's incredible to see them not giving up and striving for greatness. Just make sure you're not being stubborn out of spite or just to get under someone's skin. Boy, does that make you look bad. Flaw number 4, putting yourself first. Major jerk alert, am I right? Well, not necessarily. It's important to know your goals and who you are in life so that you don't end up taking shit from anyone. There are some people out there who are so eager to please others that they end up getting lost in other people's stuff and don't get any benefits out of the situation. People that can think about themselves and their needs know how to set up necessary boundaries at work and on a personal level to make sure that everyone around them knows where they're at. This can earn them respect and help build stronger relationships that are not based on favors. And it also helps reduce any sort of resentment that you might feel if someone doesn't reciprocate your kindness. Again, just don't take it to the extreme of never showing any kindness or refusing to be a team player. You're better than that. The last flaw that really isn't the flaw that I'm going to talk about today is asking for help. So you might be thinking, how is this bad? Well, the thing is, some people might see this as being weak or not being able to solve problems for themselves. But the thing is, sometimes, or most of the times actually, we don't have all the answers. And admitting that to ourselves and asking for help sometimes takes a lot of strength, especially if you're overly stubborn. So it's really important sometimes for you to take a step back, and if you're really struggling, just to ask for people's help. I mean, if you think about it, people don't really achieve their goals 100% by themselves. They always have people that have their back and are always there to support them along the way, and there's no shame in admitting that. Okay, so before I finish this episode, I'm gonna go through a couple of flaws that are really bad flaws and that you want to avoid at all costs. Number 1, narcissism. No one likes someone that is obsessed with themselves. They're often selfish, so that usually translates into not being a good team player. So get over yourself and stop being self-centered. Number 2, dishonesty. Yeesh, that's a terrible flaw to have. You should always be honest. Always. If you screwed up real bad, well, tough. You gotta own up to it. If you try and cover it up, it often blows up in your face and makes it 100 times worse. So suck it up, tell the truth, and face the consequences of your actions. Number 3, arrogance. This one's pretty self-explanatory. We all know that person that thinks they know it all and won't listen to anyone's opinion. Sure, you might be good at what you do, but that doesn't give you any excuse to act this way, especially if you're in a position of power. Number 4, insecurity. This one may not affect others as much, but it definitely impacts your chances of success. Sometimes you have to put yourself out there, even if it seems daunting or scary. Remember, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Man, this is really lame, but the thing is, it's so true though. Last one, pessimism. Yep, there's always that person that always says it's not gonna work or that idea isn't feasible. It's just shut up, man! Okay, you don't know! I really hate these people. I mean, there's a huge difference between giving constructive criticism and helping people improve on their ideas, and just standing there and giving snarky comments and trying to bring people down. Don't ever be that person. Seriously. That person sucks. Okay, that was a lot of flaws, but that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you liked it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you haven't already, go check out my Instagram over here. Just go ahead, go give it some love. I also post things there, and I'm thinking of posting some shorter, less structured videos there just for fun. So go ahead, check it out. In the meantime, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Ricky Resources.